What's up, y'all? This is Daniel with Pride of the Southland Kennels. Just crawled out of the fence here. I'm gonna put this hot box back on. Premier One. Somebody was asking about this. It's a Premier One fence. I'll give you a better look at the hot box. It's a hot box with a ground stake. Got the solar panel on top. The negative cable and then the fence cable. So I got the goats out here as well as Telico and Iris. The goats, when both dogs get out here, the goats really start to herd up. You can tell they're still not sure of these dogs, but these dogs, I haven't been leaving them out here together. It's been mainly Telico, but every day I'll put Emery in here with them. Then when they're in here together, they like to play. But I wanted to talk about the downfalls that I've had. What I think about this livestock guardian or farm work with bulldogs. When Telico was about 6 months old, he was put with the goats. For the longest, I believe Telico thought he was a goat. When I'd go out there, they would be eating off the leaves, you know, the leaves off the trees, and so was Telico. It's kind of funny, but I really think that's where he was so young. Telico, see how easy he is to correct. Telico, come here. I just call him right off. When they get excited, he'll get excited. He's gonna go check on them now. Anyhow, my biggest downfall was taking Telico away from goats. Sorry, the wind was, Telico, come here, boy. The wind was interfering. Like I was saying, my biggest downfall was taking Telico away from the goats. The goats are becoming a little bit more curious, but they're gonna run from him. I see you, boy. We'll see what he does. Well, he turned away. But he just ain't the same dog with the goats as he was, because these, well, number one, these ain't the same goats. He's an older, more confident dog now, so I believe that drives him to not disobey, but he's just a little bit more curious. He hasn't really done anything to the goats. He runs them a little more than I would like for him to. But thinking back, he did that even as a pup. But I didn't overlook it. I always tried to correct it, but it wasn't that big of a deal to me, which was a mistake, because he was small. He couldn't do as much damage in my head. So not that I let it go. I always corrected him, but when he does it now, he can kill one of them goats easy. But what we're gonna focus on is this new generation, the next generation, excuse me. Meaning the pup out of the current litter that I'm about to keep. Soon as she's got her vaccinations in her, first thing we're gonna do is see if she'll bond with us like I think she will, because that's one of the reasons why I picked her. She's becoming one of the more affectionate ones, and I haven't favored any of them. I was just looking, see how they react. The white female started off being the more solid dog as far as temperament goes, but then the black one, they was always close, but then the black one just kind of eased past her. I think, see what Iris does. They're getting pretty close, and the goats, you can see here, they're not running away. They're curious. That's good. We've had these goats for about a month, and they're still not as comfortable as I'd like them to be with the dogs. And Neelan's over there running the fence line barking. But anyhow, the black and white female, the one with more black, kind of passed her up, so we're gonna keep her. As soon as she's got her vaccinations in her, we're gonna put her out here with the goats. And I'm gonna put them in a more confined area. That way they have to get to know each other. And the pup should be small enough to where she can't do no damage. And I don't think the goats will. I may not put them all in there. I may put one or two in there, probably two. And we'll cross that bridge when it comes, but that's how I'm going to go about it this time. Introduce them as early as I can. As you can see, Iris is laying on the ground, and the goats are coming up to her. Better put yourself in check, sister. You know, good girl. It's always good to try to read the body language of a dog. I'm not always 100% right, but right there, when they was approaching her, I didn't like the way she was looking. But as you can see, these dogs are doing a lot better than most American Bulldogs would do, and I'm telling you that, and I'm not just saying it because these are my dogs. I've tried a dozen or so dogs with farm animals, and maybe 25% of them work out. And not to that extent either. Those are the best ones. Even Nealon's not with the goats, because Nealon is a different type of dog now. It's kind of cool to see the dogs progress as they get older. Nealon's going on 6 years old, and I don't put him with the goats because I've used him so much with that last herd to round the goats back up. I'm not even going to call it herding. You know, I don't like putting terms on stuff because I'm not an expert at this by any means. So when I say, well, I got Nealon to herd the goats, there's going to be somebody out there that really knows what they're doing when herding animals, and they're going to, critique me. So what Nealon did is Nealon knew where them goats were supposed to go. He put them back. That's how I've used him. Nealon knew where the chickens were supposed to go. He would put them back. Nealon knew when hogs got out, they needed to be caught. So I can't put Nealon in here as a livestock guardian dog. He's more of a stock dog. There's a difference in that to me, the way I use it anyways. The stock dog, they may not live with them, but you put them out there and they'll do work on any type of farm animal for you. And what I'm wanting, I want that out of them, but I'm finding it really hard to get all characteristics and traits and workability out of one dog. I can get it out of one line. Anything off of Nealon that I've got can do one thing or the other, or they can do, if there's chickens and goats, they can do good with them. If it comes to catching, some of them do good with them. But then when you catch with a dog, what I've seen in my experience is that we've took a couple of steps back. So we're gonna see how this interaction goes. This is the most curious little goat right here. She's a pretty little thing. She ain't quite ready yet. But yeah, so this is where we're at with the dog. I'm still not leaving them overnight. I'm gonna let this wind pass. All right, hopefully that wind will stay out. So yeah, I'm still not letting the dogs stay out here all night with them unattended, because I just don't want any accidents happening. I believe I've got a good little starter herd going. I don't want anything to set me back, so I'm taking it as slow as I can. Let's see what Telico does here. They run and he's just checking on them. And we're getting more interaction every day. We're getting a little bit more interaction between the dogs and the goats. That's something else that I like. As you can see. Come on back this way, buddy. So, like I was saying, all about this next generation. If I can start them as early as possible, the more success I'll have, I believe. I've been watching videos. They've been just popping up in my feed, actually. And I've seen people, having to train Great Pyrenees. And that's just odd to me. If you get a Great Pyrenees that's been bred that way for years and years and years, and you have to train it, something's wrong. The Bulldogs are a different story. They're going to do more types of work than what a Great Pyrenees or Anatolian Shepherd could do. And I'm seeing a lot of people cross dogs now. I have no issues. Or I'm not against crossing dogs and creating a dog for work, but those two breeds shouldn't be having much training, especially if you're getting them from working parents. But what I was saying is that the Bulldogs are going to be a kind of a jack of all trades, where the Pyrenees And the Anatolian Shepherds are more experts at one or two things, but the Bulldogs can do a little bit more. You know, you're not going to get if you're talking about just straight livestock guardian dogs and comparing these Bulldogs to a Great Pyrenees, you know, that's comparing apples to oranges. You know, Great Pyrenees will assist the nannies with birth, clean up the afterbirth, be right there with the goats from the very beginning. They're going to keep predators away. But with a Bulldog, I think they're just going to be able to, you know, if the goats get out, they'll put them back just like a Pyrenees will, but you can work a Bulldog on several different types of animals. I ain't ever seen Pyrenees or Anatolians do hog work. They could. I'm assuming somebody out there's tried it. But that's why I chose the Bulldog to do this with. I wanted one breed of dog instead of having 2 or 3 different breeds on my farm with different personalities. I wanted one breed of dog to do it all. And I know how hard of a task that is. That's why, you know, when these 2 dogs right here, when they breed, if everything goes well and I'm able to keep a pup, if their offspring become better dogs than them, then they earn that spot. Then these dogs right here will have to retire. That's just how it's got to be for me, because I know this is a Telico. Watch it, boy. They're not going nowhere. It's not going to be the easiest task. If that wind's interfering, I apologize. We've had some crazy wind, and I'm almost done. I don't want to keep rambling, but that's what we're doing moving forward. And I just wanted to show a little bit of interaction with the dogs and the goats. You can see, I don't care what anybody says. Just because I'm here, I've had several Bulldogs that was still, especially 2, have them goats dead right there in 5 minutes. And these goats are warming up. I do this a little bit every day, some days longer than others, obviously. But I'd like to get to where these goats are drinking and eating out of the same bowl as the dogs, just like before. Tail's still wagging. I believe that right there is the closest they've got. Good boy, Telico. And I just praise him. I don't know what I'm doing, you know, as far as the training. I have a lot of people critiquing me. I'm just doing what makes sense. This ain't rocket science. When a dog behaves in a way that I don't want it to behave, then I correct it. I ain't gonna try to correct the goats, correct the dog. Good boy, Telico. I'm just letting him know he's that close to the goats and he's not giving in to his, he's showing a lot of restraint right here. That's what he's doing. And I'm praising him for that. And he's gonna walk off. If I was not out here, he probably wouldn't do that. He'd probably run them, but I've watched him from the window several times in the house. He does good with them. On the weekends, he'll be out here with them all day. I just ain't let him stay overnight with them yet. That right there is when a dog, especially a Bulldog, because Telico has prey drive. Don't let him fool you. That right there is when you can tell how obedient a dog is in this scenario, because they're running, he's not chasing. He's following, but he's not chasing. He's just curious. Anyway, this is Daniel. This is Daniel with Pride of the Southland Kennels. Till next time, thank y'all for watching.